Good morning, it's Harvey Jackson. Just going to get through some news items. Of course, the WEF, the World Economic Forum, is meeting right now, and Trump is going there, and he's going to put a little bit of pressure on them. And the markets had pressure on it yesterday with more talk of Greenland, and the markets had a big sell-off, and it looks like it's a pretty good recovery here today. Jim Ferguson on X posted this: while the world elites gather to lecture the world, and that's basically what they're doing. Trump arrives with receipts. He's got $18 trillion pouring into the U.S. economy, and that's with tariffs. He put pressure on companies to basically build in U.S. gasoline prices under $2, prices falling, confidence surging, no spend, managed decline, no apologies, and he's basically just going to let them know what's going on. And this I pulled from Reuters here. U.S. assets under Trump's second term is actually increasing pretty substantially. And the U.S. dollar decrease is actually a good thing as well. You get a decrease in the U.S. dollar, you become a little bit more in favor, of course, in the world. So yeah, we'll just have to see how it all plays out. Stock market's gripped by geopolitical tensions as Trump heads to Davos. So following the same theme there for sure. Here's a little bit of an excerpt here. So they're Canada's their own customer. New world order with China. 76% of the Canadian trade goes to the U.S., and it's a pretty bold statement to say that you're going to be just trading with China.
Isn't Canada almost uniquely vulnerable to pressure because of the extent of your trade dependence on the United States?
Well, the proof is that we have been able to withstand the pressure, and there has been considerable pressure. I'll give you a couple of facts. We've actually created more jobs since the tariffs were put on than the United States in absolute number. Our economy is growing at the second fastest rate within the G7. That's not there. There are pockets of extreme pressure without question in Canada, but headline, we're reacting. The second thing, and it's a fundamental point, is the recognition that we can give ourselves far more than any foreign country can take away. There's lots of efficiencies in having one Canadian market, the $1 trillion of domestic investment, and building these partnerships abroad, all of which are bigger returns than what's been lost. That's not to say we would rather not lose it, but we can withstand the pressure, and we are.
And I was interested that you said basically the old world's not coming back. So you're not seeing this as a period where you just have to get through and normalcy will return.
I think that is our view, and we regret it, but we're not going to sit around and mourn it. We're acting, and we're acting in a way both that's in our interest, but we believe in a way with others that's building imperfectly in steps a new system. I'll give you one example in handback, which is we are members of trade agreements that comprise already 1.4 billion people around the world. So we have the most extensive network. We are trying with others
Here's Shelley, maybe stretching the truth here, but she is basically leaning in that she's, have to tell and keep control.
As a government, for us, we look at everything, all the levers I've talked to you about, diversification. I've talked to you about real industrial policy on, we're coming up with things on auto, on the defense and industrial strategy. We're looking at a new AI strategy, etc. But fundamentally, when we, develop all these policies, we have to govern a nation, and we have to bring people along. And we have that responsibility in a very turbulent and chaotic world right now, with a lot of anxiety, with a lot of frustration, where people think things are costing too much. And so, and they're fearful and are not necessarily trusting people, necessarily at this forum. There's a real issue of people being preoccupied, whether they're becoming powerless. So my point is it's giving this idea to people that we are in control, that we're dealing with things, that in this chaos we have a plan, that we
A couple of facts. We've actually created more jobs since the tariffs were put on than the United States in absolute number. Economy is growing at the second fastest rate within the G7.
Yeah, so just Canada got to speak, but I think the stage will be for Trump to maybe clarify a lot of these things. And I don't know if they're going to come down on Canada yet, but the CUSMA agreement is definitely up in the next few weeks here. And yeah, he already said he doesn't need Canada. Single family homes are he's basically taking out BlackRock and or Blackstone, sorry, that are owning houses and trying to stop them so that it doesn't drive up the housing market. Fertilizer set for a record. Great weather in India is actually spurring on the Indian farmer to actually apply more fertilizer, but the cost of doing it is just unbelievable, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. Dollars rising. Here's some of the cost. You can see that some of the it's as far as ratios out is going, it's going to be the some of the most expensive. I think it was like 130 some bushels just to pay for the DAP or MAP in corn. It's unbelievable pricing. So you can see it's cold over here, warmer over there, but that's where the snow is in that meeting that front there. So fairly dry in this area in the 2-week forecast. It's not there until you get there. So and we were 2% harvested as of Monday or over the weekend. In 2 weeks' time, it's that might be a favorable thing, but it's still probably going to take some yield away. So canola market is up $3 today, and I'm going to say the question I have for the market to be this strong is waiting for Trump to actually talk, because he could throw this curveball at this market again. The rapeseed is up a couple bucks at 4.76. Soybean oil is slightly up 0.3 of a penny per pound at 52.86. Crude West Texas is over $60 a barrel, and your diesel fuel prices is up almost 3 cents there at 2.32 a gallon. Soybeans are up 10 1/4 cents, and your wheats are up from 2 to 3 cents. And your Canadian dollar is up a little wee bit here as well. So this is just kind of highlighting where marketing year to date is on this crop year. So this is including the 12 million that is basically got bought. And then if this happens, where does this put us? It doesn't put us in the U.S. farm in a fantastic position. But you got to remember, we grew a huge crop here too, right here. Sorry. Canola futures looks like it's getting to that 61.8 and basically pulling back on the closes. So it's respecting that and respecting the 200-day EMA as well. High volume here on the November, right at this value. And your rapeseed futures is rallying slightly here. Your soybean oil futures seem to be capped in this, I'm going to say this sideways move. It's at the top and it doesn't want to trade through it right now, but it basically has to get through this 53.3. Soybean futures have been rallying off its lows, which is a good thing. We'll have to see if it can get into a different range here. Crude palm oil following suit of the other veg oils. Crude oil, it still looks like it's coming off its highs, but we'll have to see again with Trump talks. Diesel fuel, it's definitely on the rise, and some of that is because of the weather on the eastern seaboard, as I talked about yesterday. Canadian dollar, nice move up here. We'll have to see what this is going to do here if we're going to get back into this range here. I definitely would be looking at doing something with the Canadian dollar, and those that still have some deficits in the U.S. dollar side, you definitely want to be clearing this as we get closer and closer to par here. U.S. dollar index is definitely on the fall. That is not a bad thing for their economy. But look at this is the volatility index, and it had a pretty big spike as the S&P actually had a pretty good hit there. Gold just on a run, and a lot of gold and silver. There's other things that are going on in the banking system, but definitely a safe haven for some of the erratic stuff that's going on. And that's all I have for you today.